Hey, what is up, everyone? We are on day 26 of 30 Days of Death Shadow. Pretty exciting one on our last rotation of 5 decks. So, you know what's up, number one? Number one in our hearts, but last place in results is Grixis. But I'm super excited, though, of course, always to be playing some Shadow. And, of course, to be working again on Grixis, which is definitely the deck that I struggle with the most, and I definitely need the most practice with. We're definitely taking a different approach to Grixis this time. So we're looking at some kind of spicy inclusions here. We're basically just trying to see if we can play Scourge of the Skyclave as a threat in this deck. We see how effective Scourge is in a lot of other Shadow decks, namely the Rakdos and the Jund versions. But those are enabled by the turn 1 haste creatures. So instead we're going on the 4 lightning bolts. And then, of course, we can have some Snapcaster Mages to maybe snap back some lightning bolts. It's not... Scourge in this deck is definitely not the same Scourge as it is going to be in those Rakdos decks, right? Like those Rakdos Jund decks, we're just an aggro deck. We're playing creatures to the board, just getting Scourge online, killing our opponent as fast as you can with the Scourge. This one is more like a later game threat for this deck because we are most likely not turning on Scourge unless our opponent is helping us out in some kind of way. So, Scourges definitely can be awkward there, and I definitely don't necessarily think that this deck is like 100% or the way to play Grixis or anything, but I am wanting to try, at least, before this whole challenge runs out, to have at least tried out Scourge and Grixis. Otherwise, it's just a lot of regular Grixis things. We got the 2 Inquisition, 4 Thoughtseize, of course we got our 4 Death Shadow, got our Stubs and Thought Scours, Temur Battle Rage, Dismembers, got our Gurmag Anglers, and we just got a very well-rounded sideboard. Trying out Pithing Needle, not a card that we have tried so far in this challenge, but definitely something I'm excited to try out and see if it can help us out in any of the Heliod matchups, some of the Tron matchups, things like that. Collective Brutality, a lot of aggressive and burn strategies out there. Also with Aether Gust, that should help us out. Mana Leak is just kind of our counterspell of choice here. In other decks we might be playing Delay, like 4-color might play Delay, but here in Grixis we want Mana Leak. Plague Engineer for some of those small creature matchups. Kozilek's Return for maybe some of those other small creature matchups, but also to help fight against pro-red creatures. And then Royal Scions and 2 Kolaghan's Commands, some help in the fair matchups, and then also some Artifact Hate. Alright, I'm super excited. There's just something classic about Grixis, even though y'all have heard me rant and rant about Grixis in the past, but thankfully, I got some good buddies with me here today, and they are going to save me from hopefully some of the more egregious punts that I'm capable of with this deck. So yeah, we're jumping right in, trying to find our first opponent. And yeah. I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it, dude. Alright. Volkswagen. You know what? Some of us can't afford to spend thousands of dollars in paper and thousands of dollars online as well. So you just gotta.
Somebody literally offered to trade you these replacements.
I believe I said quite astutely. I'm not even getting this argument with y'all on my stream, so y'all can leave if you really are that offended by the mismatching arts. Of course, you are not forced to stay here. All right, so some kind of rule deck of some kind. I think what I want to do here, we can Inquisition and then Gurmag off a basic Swamp if we see something scary. I think I like that. So let's go ahead and play the Polluted Delta Inquisition here. See what we're up against. Indeed, we're up against a Ponza build. Okay, they kept an interesting hand here. They only got 2 lands. So I like just taking Klothys here because if they hit the 3rd land, it's a more mana generation for them. And yeah, we don't care too much about Bone Crusher. I guess if they hold on to this Bone Crusher, they hit land and go Bone Crusher, Bolt the Gurmag, and then we get to potentially Death Shadow after that. Yeah, I'm just still questioning what do I fetch off this Polluted Delta. I'm definitely grabbing Klothys here. What am I grabbing? Do I grab Basic Swamp? If I grab Basic Swamp, then I'm only at 16 for this Shadow. I think that's okay, though. Because I still...
Your opponent can't, like, cheese you out with a Blood Moon this next turn.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, this is probably fine. And we do have Stub in our hand for any said Blood Moons. Let's see what our opponent hits. They don't hit the land, and they just snap concede. Okay, fair enough. Oh, they not before floating a green though. Okay, so let's take a look. Ether Gust seems pretty good. Actually, funny enough, I don't even know if I played this matchup, specifically Grixis Shadow versus Ponza. I think I've only ever played the other Shadow variants against Ponza. So I don't have a ton of insight here, to be honest. Let me think, what would I like, what would I not like? I feel like maybe... Street Rate's fine. I mean, so one of the things I know from just playing a lot of other black-based mid-rangey decks against Ponza is that, you know, just being able to land a really big threat early in the game is one of the best things that you can do against them. Because with all of their damage being red-based, anything with more than 4 toughness tends to give them a really hard time. So that's something like that really in the early game is pretty good. But other than that, but I don't know how that translates to anything in my sideboard. Obviously, I know I want Ether Gust. Yeah, what are you thinking, Mike?
I was gonna say some of the cards I really like in this matchup are like Mana League,
Okay.
Royal Scion, Plague Engineer.
Interesting. Huh,
Mana
interesting.
League to be able to interact with like everything from Blood Moon to Elder Gargaroth to
Okay.
Scavenging Ooze,
Sure.
whatever. Royal Scions because it's really easy to cast through a Blood Moon and
Sure.
allows you to like throw away some of those dead cards as well as act as a pseudo win condition. And then Plague Engineer because it's easy to cast through Blood Moon, wipe up a bunch of Season Pyromancer tokens, so you can keep the pressure going.
Sure.
And, things I'm a little less excited about would be like Snapcaster Mages because you're usually looking at like Clothis, Scavenging Ooze, Relic of Progenitus.
Good point. Good point.
Maybe like a Street Wraith could get cut, and the last spot's usually like a Stubborn Denial plus.
Yeah, because we're bringing Smother.
Kind of trimming on some things.
Sure, sure. I could also see Scourge maybe being a liability here. They don't do a ton of damage to themselves with their mana base, and then they play things like Clothis and Scavenging Ooze, like you were just saying. So there's something else to keep an eye on.
Yeah, Scourge is like fantastic if you get a quick hit in on them.
All right, so we see exactly what we were just talking about. But I am keeping this hand, but this is funny that this just came up. We were just saying about Scourge being a liability, but definitely not throwing back a hand like this because we get a lot of early interaction here. And if we have even the potential to play a big Scourge, we're going to want to do that. Okay, so I think I actually want to Street Wraith first because there's some things, like if I draw like a basic here or something, that would influence my decision of how I fetch. Mana Leak. Alright, I think it's pretty free to grab a Watery Grave off of this. This can get either Basic Swamp or Basic Island. And let's see if we walk right into the Veil Summer here. No, we don't. Okay. Wow, there is super heavy on the top end here for our opponent. So, what does that say to us? That says something like maybe we just try to just YOLO play out the Scourge here, hope to fade, and if we're able to get a couple hits in with it. Okay. So if they top deck a Blood Moon, that's pretty rough. But we can still function off of a swamp pretty easily here. I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. There's obviously a lot of things here. I mean, like they're playing Renin 6, you know, they're playing Kitchen Finks, you know. This is definitely a vulnerable play. Like, we're putting ourselves in a vulnerable position, but I think if we can untap from here, I think we're pretty okay. Okay, Pyromancer's pretty good, for sure. See what they ditch. Seeing the big drops here. Okay, Glorybringer and a Prismatic Vista, sure. Okay, Death Shadow's pretty interesting. I think I'm happy just to Thoughtseize here. And I think I'm just going to take these two with the Thoughtseizes. And then next turn we can play a Shadow out. Definitely starting with that Bloodbraid Elf. Could play another 1/1, funny enough, but... actually, is that better? That might be better. These are their 3 cards in hand. I feel like that's just... Right, no, not on their next turn. I think I'm liking this because we're giving ourselves a lot of outs here to like really doing something cool, namely like just fetch lands. Yeah, sure. Okay, Klothys, interesting. So that means death for the Scourge if we can't find a way to push some damage here. Okay, interesting. So we can Thoughtseize out this Gargaroth.
So there's a line here.
Yeah, I'm seeing it too. Sorry, I think I know what you're gonna say, but yeah. Well, before I do this Thoughtseize, okay. So my thinking was Thoughtseize them, and then we Fatal Push the Elemental, and we can attack with both, and the Scourge should survive that damage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If they, like, you want them to block the Scourge, make the Shadow.
Right. So I just push the Elemental. Okay, yeah. See if they see it. Because if they block just the Shadow, then the Klothys will take care of the Scourge here. They don't, they just take it all. Okay, that's best of both worlds. Cool.
Well, sometimes your opponent making possibly suboptimal choices isn't out as well.
Right. Alright, fetch land, let's go. If not, we just get to Gurmag, which is pretty sweet. I think I want to save the Thoughtseize here. Yeah, we're just good to attack with both, I believe. Because if they try to double block the Scourge is still going to survive that combat. They'll take damage from the Shadow here. Do I want to get the Gurmag out, though, before they do anything, activate their Relic? Because they haven't activated Relic yet. I think I kind of want to. I mean, we have, what are we going to fade 2? Got to fade 2 draw steps for something big here?
I probably would.
Yeah, I think so, too. I don't mind, I think, gambling against the opponent's top decks here. And the fact that they didn't activate Relic, I think we should just take advantage of that.
Right, it almost feels like last chance to
Right. Alright. And we just got some thick lads. And they don't crack Relic. I feel like I would have just cracked Relic if I was them, because you just need to draw something, right? Wow, they just brick. Okay, so they just have Seasoned Pyromancer. Alright, fetch lands? Nope. Okay, that's alright. So we just get to hold up Mana Leak, which is not the worst. And I'm guessing they're just going to line up a bunch of blocks with the Pyromancer tokens. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe they didn't want to crack Relic because they didn't want to, you know, they didn't want to ruin their own tokens, but I don't know. Interesting choice from our opponent here. Guess they're just saying, like,
Trying to draw a burn spell.
yeah, that's what they're trying to do. I guess that's true. Bolt off the top does it, doesn't it?
Bolt or Bone Crusher Giant.
That's true. Good point. Alright, cool. I dig it.
That one,
Not that one. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, despite my little questions or qualms or whatever, I think our opponent played pretty well. Alright, so, no land, we can't cycle the Street Wraith. Yeah, we just go to attack again. So if we attack with both these and hold back the Gurmag is not changing a clock here by dealing 2 damage. So I think actually just, these are both forcing blocks, and so they go block, block, and then that helps us beat more things, like, I don't know, Blood Braid, yeah, something like that. So I think this actually helps us beat more things by holding back this Gurmag here. Oh, sure, yeah, Crack Relic. That's smart. Yeah, and we're definitely not cycling Street Wraith because we're gonna. If we do, we just die to the Clothis. So opponent's got a draw step, or 2 draw steps off the Relic as well. Yep. Another Relic. Okay, another draw step. That's funny. Bone Crusher Giant.
Red-green storm.
Red-green storm. All right. Well, we faded. We faded like what, like 4 or 5 draws there. That's crazy. All right, sweet. Well, I mean, so what do we think about Scourge in that match? Scourge was like pretty vulnerable of a threat, but once it got going, it was pretty sweet. And our opponent definitely made a less than optimal block on that first time we attacked, and they could have killed it. So hard to say exactly. Obviously, it just being a 2, just pay 2 mana to put a threat on the board, and then it stuck around and helped us win is pretty sweet. Because if it wasn't that Scourge, it probably would have been just another Gurmag Angler, which we wouldn't have been able to cast at all. So, some things to consider there. I don't know.
Especially with red green, there's no pushes or paths and such.
Right, good point. Yeah, yeah. No, none of that unconditional removal. All the removal is damage based.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Wow, we just queue up against the same person again. All right, so we definitely know what we're looking for here. I actually like this hand quite a bit against them. We're going to get a good early Gurmag Angler. And also we're on the play, and so we can stub that turn 1 Utopia Sprawl if they cast it. So don't mind this at all. And even if they go for it here, what we can do... Okay, yeah, never mind. Actually, I think I like just bobbling myself, because if we like it, we can Street Wraith into it. Yeah, sure. Let's Street Wraith into that. And then we don't need to Street Wraith again. And we just get to scour ourselves. If we hit land, that's perfect. Because then we can Gurmag hold up stub. Okay. So what are we drawing into? A Fatal Push. We can go shields down on this stub, I think is fine. They're probably not casting a 2, like anything on 2 that we could stub that we'd want to. I'll just keep a Thought Scour around, I suppose. And like, I guess I could just like spam just Street Wraith there, but a little bit leery of doing something like that against an aggressive deck here. So if they play like a Scavenging Ooze, we got Fatal Push and Bolt for it. Oh sure, red and 6. Okay, so that was something that we may have wanted to stub. So fair enough. All right, there's the other land. So that's pretty cool. All right, sorry, my computer froze there for a sec. Let me reset my internet just in case. All right, so these spots are interesting. I definitely want to cycle a Street Wraith here. Okay, I think with that we're just gonna attack. Oopsies, I almost clicked through that again. Slow myself down here. Notably, we have a 2-turn clock actually with this Bolt here. That's pretty cool. And the Gurmag. Obviously, that gets messed up if they play Clothis here, or other things like Seasoned Pyromancer. Yep, that's a good one. Can't stub a Seasoned Pyromancer, unfortunately. Alright, chuck the Blood Moon. Alright, heads up for them. Obviously, we're representing stub there pretty strongly. So I think I'm going to go ahead and fetch, tapped, and Fatal Push this. We got to start working through this somehow. Okay. I think this is fine. So now we got to think about our outs, like drawing a Team or Battle Rage or something. Like if we end up with just this single threat. I am going to take this opportunity to stub here, because if this prevents them from casting a 5-drop creature, we're going to be really happy that we did that. All right, another Pyromancer is really, really good against us, obviously. Yeah. And whatever that they were going for, I don't know. Okay. So, If we dismember this... Oh no, that wouldn't... That doesn't change much because we're trying to draw into Team or Battle Rage. We can't, like, Bolt and Battle Rage here. Are we supposed to Bolt upstairs? And the chance... Ooh, do we get to the forbidden end-step Street Race cycle there? Alright, I'm just going to tap. Death Shadow's fine. That's interesting. Cool. So let's just go ahead and attack with Gurmag. This Renin 6 about to ultimate, but no, they don't have any instants or sorceries yet, so that's kind of cool. Let's just go ahead and double threat here. Hold up stub. I have 6 cards in hand. Ooh-wee. Definitely scary. Okay. Lightning Bolt, okay. See what they decide to do with it. Okay, so let's break this down. If they bolt us, we go to 5. We can dismember down to 1 and bolt something else. You can always untap and dismember if we need to. I'm guessing they're not going to attack though, right? Like, I think we should just stub this. That's really hard. That's close. Okay. Okay. Our only out might be TBR now. They're gonna ultimate that Renin 6, and I'm sure they're just gonna bolt us out of the game here. So we dismember this, we bolt this, we attack everything at Ren so they don't ultimate. But then we're just expended all the cards in our hand, and we're very vulnerable, but I don't think we're winning against the Ren ultimate, right? So we dismember off of these two, we go to 6. We can bolt here, tap Blood Crypt. I mean, obviously, shocking and Blood Crypt or not shocking doesn't really make a difference with this dismember that we're going to cast. If we attack them, they just go to 6 off of a Gurmag Angler. Then we're at 6, and they have ultimate or Renin 6. They got Bolt in the yard. I just don't think we're beating that, so this is what we're going to do here. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter, does it? Okay. Obviously, they can just say no blocks, let Ren die, and then they can just potentially have lethal in the crack back here. Yeah, tough spot, tough spot. We needed to fade something there. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. Dang, that was a close one. That was super, super, super close. Yeah. Bolt. Okay, bolt. All right. Frustrating loss for sure because I felt like that was either a missed draw from them or a top deck from us getting there. So. Okay, so let's talk about what we like and what we don't like. I think we went something like this last time. Oopsies. Mike, what else did we not like in the main deck?
The 4th Stubborn Denial.
Okay.
Maybe the 3rd if you're expecting like high Pyromancer.
Right.
Counts like that.
Right.
We talked about the Scourge, possibly.
Right. Right. We're gonna stick with this. Kind of like this setup here. Yeah, let's give this a shot. Sam looks fine. Get the hold up stub on turn 1. We can do some stuff with Bobble and Thought Scour. Yeah, sure. Utopia Sprawl coming up next turn. Awkward. Yeah, a little more awkward. It's alright. If we hit fetch land next turn, it'll be pretty good. Not a fetch land, but we'll take it. So we have two options here. We have a couple options, actually. We could go Swamp Scourge. Obviously, it's just a 1/1, so it's probably going to die if they have anything, Bolt or Stomp. We could Thought Seize, or we could just hold up Mana Leak. So... I think I actually like holding up Mana Leak a little bit more here because we wanting them to use all of their mana on this turn. We can Mana Leak, unless it's like Bloodbraid Elf, obviously, it's not great. Yeah, if they have Veil Summer, it's obviously pretty rough. Okay, they don't. That's nice. So if we get like, if we hit like Fetch Land or something. Okay, Relic, sure. Okay, there we go, nice. Sweet, so that gives us a little more flexibility here. We can Thought Seize now. Now we do see that Bone Crusher Giant. We're just going to take the Elder Gargaroth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they'll be casting it next turn, so we don't want that. I can fetch Shock to 12. And I can play a Shadow. If they go to Stomp it, we can Bolt ourselves. Don't hate that. Yeah, I think Blood Crypt's fine here. Because what we're wanting to achieve here is dealing damage to them and being able to go Scourge, Scourge. Like if we hit another land, just go Scourge, Scourge, something like that. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead. Oh, we don't have to do anything here. Yeah. So they play the Utopia Sprawl. They have Bone Crusher, Wooded Foothills into hand. Oh, maybe I should have done it before they made the land drop, because now they are kind of seeing what's up here. Okay. Not ideal. I don't want to lose this Death Shadow, so we're just actually just going to hit him for 1 and play out a Scourge. Yeah, maybe my first instinct maybe was right, just to try to just bolt myself there. It's another window for us to bolt ourselves, but I think we're just going to let it go again. Sure. Okay. All right, Dismember. Oh, okay. So, Battle Raging the Shadow would deal 8 damage to them. I don't mind turning, because like, if I attack with both, oh, okay, we could. Okay, here's what we could do. We could attack with both. If they block the Scourge, then they messed up again, right? So let's see what they do first. Okay, so they're gonna block that. So am I willing to lose this Death Shadow? I think so. And here's why. Because if we lose this Death Shadow, they go to 14. This is a 6/6. I play another Scourge. We just have lethal with Battle Raging Scourges here. And 2 6/6s I hope they're just going to have a hard time dealing with. Famous last words, but you know. Because we are kind of at that... ooh, Scavenging is interesting. So... Puts them actually... Still dead. Yeah, they're still dead. Okay. Cool. There's not blocking? Okay, fair enough. Cool. Alright, woo. Navigated through that one. Navigated through that one. Alright, we gotta win one on the draw. Let's take a look. So, we saw Scavenging Ooze. They really love those Elder Gargaroths. I wouldn't be shocked if they were trimming on Arbor Elves. I'm just like thinking about this Fatal Push in our sideboard. I think it's fine to leave it there. Okay, I think I'm happy with this setup here still. Yeah, Stub gets even worse on the draw because we can't even hold up Stub turn 1 to get a Utopia Sprawl. Alright, well, GG's to our opponent either way. We've had some fun 2 games of Magic for sure. This is just a mulligan. This hand's not doing any of the things we need it to do. This hand is not amazing, but it does have a nice thing going for it, that we have basic Swamp in this hand. Oh, I wish this was our 7. It's like, maybe we're supposed to bottom Scourge here because it's the most unreliable threat here. And we just have a threat in Skirmag, a way to enable it, and some interaction. We're going to give that a shot here. Oh, they still have the Arbor Elves. Okay, fair enough. I think I'm supposed to Inquisition here. I can do it off the Bloodstained Mire, grabbing a Watery Grave. Because if I just pass, they're just going to play around Stub, I think. Like, so they're just not going to jam Moon on us. I just really don't. I've seen them respecting that before. Okay, so we just got to take, I think we're just going to take a Relic. Bolt we can somewhat not care about. Really hoping for us to find a way to interact with these, obviously. Okay, not quite. We actually can grab Island off this and Thought Scour ourselves. I think I like that just a little bit more. We can just take Blood Moon out of the equation for us to things to worry about, because we already have a lot of other things to worry about here. Obviously, it means we don't have red for our Team of Battle Rage or Bolts. That was something I should have said and should have considered there, but yeah. All right, what does Bloodbraid Elf bring us? Seasoned Pyromancer. Yikes. Feels bad, man. Foothills. Okay, so then we have Glorybringer, 2 unknowns. Yeah, this might be our doom here. Okay. Okay. We wanted that mana leak. Definitely wanted that mana leak for sure. Yeah. That decision to grab Basic Island maybe is costing us the game here. But I don't know if Bolt's going to be... Bolt probably wouldn't have done that much. Oh my god, Aether Gust? Okay. Alright. Oh man, they just slam Scoos, huh? So they already made their land drop for turn. So they have access to 4 mana after this? I thought they were going for Glorybringer for sure. Because I thought they were going to go to... Huh. just gonna let it go. Why'd they play the Scoos? That's so interesting. Another Scoos. Oh my goodness. Alright. Okay. Alright. That's game. So, yeah, they're just going to play Glorybringer next turn. Our hand's super mopey. Yeah, if we had access to bolts, we could maybe start to fight back here a little bit, but I don't think it would have made much of a difference. I mean, I could, like, attack, and if they made bad blocks, I could, like, gust one of the creatures, but, like, I mean, like, am I gusting one of these? Like, I don't think so. We'll just pass. Sure. You got it. Sure. Sure, you got it. They're just, like, not about this Glorybringer. Interesting stuff, opponents. Interesting stuff. Oh no, just rubbing it in that I didn't get that red source. Oh my goodness. Okay, that fixes my mana. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's really helpful. Let's do this now before they untap a bunch of green. I'm sure they're just going to eat one of their own Scoozes. Alright. If they decline to cast Glorybringer again, I can just Thought Scour myself. They hit a bolt. We can Stubborn Denial whatever they're representing here. Post-combat Glorybringer? The Dream? The Dream, the post-combat Glorybringer. You love to see it. So now we can just gust that in the draw step. Okay. I'm thinking about it. If they go to double block, we can just gust one of them. They're not going to double block because they're not going to give up the Glorybringer here. Good. That's a good. They put it on top. Okay. We'll see what we draw. I like the line though. Five, 6, 7. So I'm gonna go Thought Scour them. I actually like that line quite a bit. Bottle's really good. What are they drawing into? A relic? Okay, yeah. Sick. So we want to leave open bolts and other things. Oh, of course. I've got to tap a swamp here. Oh yeah. What am I? I'm being the dum. So we can just do that. We don't have. Yeah. I guess maybe Mike's cringing a little bit because I didn't represent like we still have Snapcaster in the deck. Yep, just get back the Pyro token, sure. Okay. Alright, Utopia Sprawl, sure. Okay, we gotta fade some draws here for sure. Ooh, that looks like we did not. That's a good one. Yeah. I think we're still just yamming here. need to draw? It's hard to say exactly. We more just need them to stop doing this. We really need this to like just chill out a little bit here, opponent. I think we've fought through 3 Seasoned Pyromancers now. Yeah. I think that needs to stop, opponent. Oh, yikes. Alright, they just untapped. Oh, because then they can block with Pyromancer and then get back tokens. That makes sense, yeah, sure. Just getting a little F6 value, makes sense. Okay, Bolt's interesting. Okay. I'm just going to hold on this Bolt. I don't want to Bolt the Arbor Elf. They have tons of mana as it is, so... Oh, sure. Gotcha. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put us to 8. Okay. They have 4th Season... Oh, no, they just have more Pyro tokens, of course. What am I saying? Okay, sure. That's their plan, yeah. Okay. Ooh, yes, indeed. Okay. Okay. 3, 4. Okay, we're not dead yet. Jeez, man. Okay. Are they gonna attack? Holy goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, they really put me to the test, huh? Because, like, what did they draw into? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I take one and bolt the other so that I don't die to a bolt. Block 1. I think I have to. I just think I have to, right? I mean, this is just clearly what they're representing here. This is 18 trample damage. Do they have anything else to play here? Okay. What a... Alright. Shake it off, shake it off. That was just... That was a really, really, really brutal slow roll from our opponent. So, opponent, if you're watching this, dude, don't do this. This is like... This is just literally insulting. That tilts me more than anything else. That's just completely insulting. Alright. I mean, good games, well played, but... Dude, don't do that shit. That's fucked up. Just show me you have double bolt. Like, that's really stupid. Alright. I'm sorry. I'm just out of my mind. I was holding up a blue that whole time, right? They were playing around stub. I'm sorry, opponent. My apologies, dude. I've lost my cool there. Great games, dude. Super great games. I'm sorry. I forgot I was holding up a blue for stub. My bad, dude. That's on me. So yeah, dude, sweet games, man. Super close. That's about as close as it got. Yeah, as you know, as you astutely were playing and noticing from opponent, you saw that I have the Teamer Battle Rage there. So yeah. So sweet games, man, for sure. Dang. Yeah, I got to remember that. I just completely spaced that I was holding up the blue. For some reason, I thought I had tapped off of it for something, but that was a couple turns previous. So. Oh man. So yeah, they saw all 4 Seasoned Pyromancers that game. That's crazy. We beat 3 of them, not the 4th one though. Alright, Moto holding us in a little bit of suspense here. We're going in over 2 minutes waiting for our next match to come up. Maybe Volkswagen will finish their entire league and then requeue again. We'll just get the three in a row there.
How long do we have to wait to finish the video to get the full five matches against Volkswagen?
That's right. Well, we'll just message him and be like, yo, dude, drop from your league, requeue again. Let's go. Yeah, that was a genuinely crazy game. I don't know how we were still in that. That was nuts. Oh yeah, we made it close. Gosh, their last 2 cards were Bolt, and if they weren't, we would have won with the Battle Rage on the Shadow. Pretty wild. MTGO tonight, they're just like, look, your only opponent is Volkswagen. That's it. That's all you're allowed to play against. It's weird. I'm always... Okay, never mind. Okay, good. We're good now. I was literally about to say, like, I'm always curious when there's this many active players and then you waiting that long. But I guess just everyone's in a game.
I just played against this person in the league.
Oh, yeah. Lura's Companion. His hand's pretty mopey here. Oh, Stub. I mean, the only thing that's nice about it is a Bolt, but I think we can do a lot better. Ooh, this hand's pretty bad, isn't it? I'm going to keep because we had a redraw and we're on the draw. They're on a Luris deck. Maybe we're supposed to bottom a Scourge. I mean, yeah, they might be doing damage to themselves would be nice, but I'm guessing they're having, like... Well, we just have, like, no way to turn on this Gurmag anyway, though, do they? I feel like Gurmag might be a better threat against a Luris deck, but absent, like, anything that we're really doing here. Oh, boy. Okay, so we're up against, like, green-black of some variety with Luris, so we would take the Thoughtseize taken from us. That's brutal. Alright. This might be a little rough here.
I think Jun Scourge is usually the de facto assumption.
Okay.
Luris now.
Opponent does not have a second land drop. Interesting. They're going to hit the land next turn. Okay. Another Shadow. No, okay, so we don't either, so yay. Wait, we can bolt it, right? We can bolt Mike, right? Can I bolt it?
I mean, it's a 2/3.
It's a 2/3?
3 power.
Exactly. Alright, so... Oh, if I chucked a 15... I know we're running Scourge out into what is most likely a Fatal Push here. But... Maybe we can... Well, they know about the Shadow in hand. I was thinking, like, maybe they can go, like, kill this, attack us, then we can play Shadow, hold up Stub, or if we hit another land, Shadow, hold up Stub, something like that. Well, now it's out of Bolt range, so that's nice. At least we have that going for us. And we know they don't have Lily because they have Luris as a companion, so... They're dealing much damage to themselves? Are they Shadow as well? Interesting. Okay. Ooh, that Tarmogoyf be thicky thick.
Thought I made a comment about that. That right now, like Luris getting revealed, I think the Jun Scourge deck, the Rakdos Scourge deck splashing for Tarmogoyf is like the de facto assumption at the moment.
Gotcha. Just have Battle Rage. Alright, Battle Rage me. Take me out of my misery. We do not have Battle Rage. Interesting. Just a bunch of... Oh, we have a Shadow of our own? Okay. Ooh, another shadow of our own. Okay. I see. I see how it is, opponent. I see. Okay. These are both red sources. We just go buzz, buzz. But since we are facing down quite a bit of pressure here, I think we're just supposed to shadow hold up stub. And just passele.
We're supposed to shadow and bolt one of their shadows, because if they just have like any way to deal damage to themselves,
Yeah.
they're probably just killing us on the crackback.
I just valued stub more, but yeah, maybe. Okay, Lurse goes into hand.
We don't have it.
Ooh, okay, so you're about to maths up in here. If we attack with both, then we can battle rage something. Because if they block with their shadow on ours, this the first strike damage, we're just gonna be losing our minds here. But Mike has a nice little formula, I know, for this exact kind of situation. Oh wow! All right. Well, now I don't think we can lose. We know they're not on. Because now we don't have to maths our head insane here, because we can just go bolt on this shadow right here, and then just team or battle rage this one. But since we do have Mike here, Mike does have a really cool little formula for if a shadow is blocking our shadow, or any creature of ours, and we battle rage it. So let me see if I can try to piece it together here. So they have a shadow right here. Then we have to remember the fact that shadow math's really weird, right? And that shadow grows when we deal damage to them. Okay, so if there's a situation where, and I don't know exactly the math here, but if there's a situation where by virtue of us dealing damage to them enough to grow their shadow here, then they can make a successful block on the second strike damage. And there are situations where you can, if you don't assign damage correctly between the shadow here and them at their face, then that shadow will survive to second strike damage, and then they could survive entirely because of that shadow's now big enough to absorb more damage on the second strike. So, with that all being said, though, what does that exactly look like? Well, if this was a 2-2 and I just had battle raged this guy, then I need to assign damage such that not enough to leave the shadow alive, but enough to still deal some damage to them. So if I had, let's say, 8 here and they had 2, and I battle rage this, so you just kind of, I don't know what the formula is, I just have to mental math it, but like, it would be something like, if I deal 3 damage to them, the shadow becomes a 5-5. If I deal 4 damage to them, their shadow becomes a 6-6. If I deal 5 damage to them, their shadow becomes a 7-7. So I think I would have to assign 5 damage here. Oh, no, because then that would be dealing not enough damage to them. Right, okay, so I would have, let me count backwards again. So if I deal 3 damage to them, shadow becomes a 5-5. That's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot, right?
Sideboarding.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to figure this out, though. It's more important than sideboarding in this. I'm already pissed about this league on that last one, but.
You want me to give you the cheat formula?
Yes. 1 sec. I think I got it though. In that specific situation, you deal 3 to them, 5 to the shadow.
So your shadow, their shadow is a 2-2. Yours was a 10-10.
Mine was an 8-8.
Yours is an 8-8.
Before I drew the fetch land, so I could just do it the easy way.
Sure. And you said 5 to the shadow?
I said 5 to the shadow, 3 to them. So then their shadow becomes a 5-5. It dies on that first strike damage still, and then we second strike damage them to death.
Yep.
Okay, cool. There is a handy formula though?
Yes, there is a much simpler way of thinking about it.
Okay.
So when you're assigning the trample damage, if you take the total amount of damage that you can trample over and you cut it in half.
Okay.
As long as you do at least that amount to the shadow will die.
Ooh, did we get it?
So you just go up to like the next, if it is an even number,
We didn't get it.
And that's how much you have to assign. If it's a half, you just have to assign the next integer up.
Okay.
So like, if you've got an 8/8 shadow attacking to a 3/3 shadow and you battle rage, you'd be able to trample over for 5 damage, cut it in half as 2.5, and you have to assign the next integer up to the shadow. So 3 to the shadow, in addition to the 2 you would be normally 3 of the trample damage assigned to the shadow. So you deal 5 to the shadow, 2 trample over. The shadow goes to a 4/4 with 5 damage assigned to it and dies.
Gotcha. So kind of nice how this all turned out here. They're gonna Inquisition something out of our hands, and then we get to Watery Grave Gurmag, and hopefully they don't have a trophy or something like that, and we just get to freely Gurmag. I chose not to Inquisition or Thoughtseize there because I wanted to play around Veil of Summer, and if our opponent is opting to just take the turn off to do that, let's get the Veil out of hand, I guess, now. But I'm almost 100% certain they've got it. Yep. Now, hopefully that's a little bit less trouble for us into the future here. It was free to do because we're delving anyway. And yeah, of course, y'all saw me. I missed the submit because I got really lost in thought about what Mike was saying about the formula. So, all right, opponents. Now, let's not cast that quite yet. Let's see, we have another Veil Summer. Okay, very nice. So, go ahead and attack first.
Honestly, I don't even think you're cracking the bobble here.
Right. I think I'll take care of that other Fatal Push in case we top deck a... I guess we could have saved it for the Luris. Yeah, that's probably fine. Yeah. Guess luckily for us, they don't have... Alright, so let's see if we don't get punished for the way that we forgot to submit sideboarding and we hit exactly land Battle Rage.
That's kind of what I was referring to. Like, you got fortunate with the second Gurmag Angler, but you didn't need to pop that bomb. You're winning the race against the Tarmogoyf.
Okay.
And if you didn't hit the second Gurmag Angler, they would just be able to put the Goyf in front of the Gurmag, and you'd be kind of stonewalled.
Gotcha.
Hopefully it doesn't matter and they just decide to roll over and die. But
if they do that, they're dying to the bolt. If I hit the land to bolt them, of course. I think I like for our opponent to go... Well, no. It's actually close. I do think they should cast Luris here, but it's pretty close.
I mean, if they cast Luris, attack for 4, then you lose fetch land for a bolt as an out.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. So if they attack, then let's hope we hit Fatal Push.
Pretty sure they should attack here.
Yeah, smart. Okay. Unfortunate draw. We hit all our Gurmag Anglers? No, just 3 of them. Alright, guess we gotta pass. Then they get like double redraw on the Peat land. Attack with Luris. Oh, we're just dead on board. Yeah. Okay. Alright, at least this time around we get to sideboard for real. Ooh, Bishop's Bobble. Nice. Alright. Now we get a sideboard for real. Fine. Street Wraith. Alright, let's give that a shot. Alright, I like this hand quite a bit. Just the old turn 2 Gurmy. And also that plays really well against turn 1 hand disruption. Since a lot of our cards are just going to be out. You know, if they go to Thoughtseize or whatever, I'll just Thoughtscour myself in response. Okay. So let's just do this first. Oopsies, almost clicked on them. Let's see, take a peek at what they're drawing into. The Wooded Foothills. Okay, so do I need to... No, I can just untap and draw, I think. Or am I really wanting to like try to untap like Gurmag plus hold up stub? No. Okay. Double bolt. Okay, so let's cycle Street Wraith. Okay, so we're just gonna run out this Gurmag. And then let's see what else are they drawing into. Alright, at the very least though, if that's their turn, it kind of fuels our next Gurmag. So at least helps to fuel our next Gurmag. And I think they're incentivized to do it on their own turn because of the card Stubborn Denial. So yeah, we just grab a Swamp. See what we draw into. Thoughtseize would be sweet. Thoughtscour is fine. Ooh, yeah. So I think I want to go ahead and grab a Steam Vents here so I can have double blue, and I also of course need my red sources right now. And then we can go like this.
Nope.
What?
If you had gone off the Steam Vents, you could have just gone Shadow Gurmag.
Okay, sure. Fair enough.
Double threat.
Fair enough. Alright, sure.
One of my favorite plays in Magic right there.
Oh my god, another Assassin's Trophy. There's the stuff. Alright. Well, we have just a wall of disruption here, so that's kind of nice. Okay.
They did.
A little bit. We drew my favorite card in Magic, though. Yeah. All right. Well, that felt pretty smooth. So the question I think for me right now is like, are we benefiting at all from Scourge? It's hard to say that we are, but are we benefiting from Lightning Bolt? I actually feel like Lightning Bolt's been pulling some weight. It's been giving us a lot of flexibility. Obviously, it's not the perfect removal spell, but even in the matchup, the quote-unquote matchup where it's bad, right? Like against a Shadow Mirror, we can still do a lot with the bolts there. We countered an opposing bolt. Well, countered because we got to deal damage to ourselves to save a Death Shadow from their bolt. We got to bolt ourselves for lethal there. Against that Ponza match, I think we had used bolt. I mean, bolt was really relevant all the games. So I don't know. I'm actually kind of like really digging Bolt and Grixis Death Shadow here. The Scourges have been okay. I don't think they've been amazing. Oh, this is funny. We played this dude earlier today as well. Or not me, but other people. I don't hate this hand actually. Just the amount of redraws in the hand and being on the play, having stub on the play, I really value. So I don't remember what this opponent was playing. I know they weren't on Abzan. I think they were on Tron of some variety. So
Pretty sure they were on Eldrazi Tron.
yeah. So I guess something minor here is like maybe to lead on Bloodstained Mire instead. That's okay. Bloodstained Mire is less suspicious of Stubborn Denial. But I was looking at the force. Oh, wait, I think that was me actually. My computer froze. Having a little trouble here with the old MTGO tonight. So I think the one thing that we really need to keep on our mind is Chalice of the Void. Ooh, what if Foothills? Okay. Never mind. We're not worried about Chalice of the Void.
Oh no, I'm still a little worried about it.
Still a little bit worried about it. You never can be too worried about a Chalice of the Void. I don't know what I'm doing on these baubles yet, though. Yeah, let me reset my internet really quick, because I'm getting a little bit spooked. So I don't think that's my pawn. I think that's me. Okay. Interesting. So not quite... They're probably going to shuffle this away. Whoa. Okay, cool. But yeah, we can just untap once here. Okay, Thoughtseize is nice. Cool. Alright, opponents. What are we up to? What are we up to here? So we have the third land. This still can grab another Watery Grave. Whoa, okay. Interesting. Right. So they gotta pay. If I get rid of the Ranger, they have to pay 3 to get that back. We have Fatal Push for the Shalai, and we have Stub for Call/Devastation. Or we have Stub for the Postmortem Lunge as well. I think I'm just happy taking Ranger Cap here. And then obviously we need to find a threat pronto. Oh, they could be shuffling away this Finale Devastation as well. Okay, yeah, there. So we'll just bobble them. Now I think is fine, yeah. Devoted Druid, okay. So we got the Fatal Push for that, but then they have Postmortem Lunge to get it back. Gurmag Angler is great. So now we can untap with a hard stub. Actually, do we need to Fatal Push this? I think I like it because... Yeah, I just wanted to I want to Fatal... the play pattern I'm wanting to go for here is Fatal Push this, play Gurmag Angler, hold up Stub, they go to Postmortem Lunge, we stub that, and then we just get to work here with the Gurmag. I think that's just going to be the most effective use of our mana, most efficient use of our mana here as well.
So, Postmortem Lunge only brings it back until the end of the turn, right?
Correct.
Based.
Correct.
So it might be.
Oh, just like make them go for the call and just hope they don't top deck. I guess but they do need 3 pieces though. Oh no, they have Shalai in hand, so Shalai would just do infinite mana there. Sorry, make all their dudes infinitely big. So, thoughtseize. Another stub. Okay, well that makes.
Fire stubs and everything.
So we're grabbing Blood Crypt here, so we can. Fire stubs at everything.
Shalai's a 3/4, is that right?
Correct. Mike, maybe you're right.
So you know Shalai Eladamu's call.
Because if they have what's it called? They've made their land drop for turn, right? So if they have the what's it called? The white creature, they can't make. They play that, but they only make green off the Devoted Druid.
Well, they can make 2 green off the Devoted Druid, right?
Right. And then they're gonna call, and we just stub that. Wait, how are they gonna get us here? This must mean their last card in hand is a ballista, right? I think we're just gonna stub, but I think we just maybe there was interesting things to like think about there, because if they get it back, they don't have enough white to call for the what's the white creature called?
Vizier of Remedy.
Vizier. They don't have enough white to both call and play Vizier and then Shalai. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I wonder if the third card in hand is Ballista. That's a pretty good draw.
I think it's the kind of situation where if you had Bolt or Push or some other piece of interaction, I'd probably let it resolve.
Sure.
And just like try to get the most cards out of your opponent's hand.
Right.
But since you've got the second Stubborn Denial, I think that kind of means just counter it, go ahead and use your stubs. You can't take your stubs to game 2, so there's no reason to just give them
a free win.
Free spells.
Yeah, makes sense. Our opponent, we got big thickums on the board.
Like, what was it? Jeff Fuglen would always say the best form of card advantage is killing your opponent while they still have cards in hand.
Yeah, that's a really good quote. Yeah. Best card advantage is the cards that are stuck in your opponent's hand when they die. Okay, so there's the Vizier. Go for a little chump block action. Because they were trying to like figure out if they could block here and then still somehow untap and win. We know the 2 cards in their hand. It's just like, hey, I heard you like Stubborn Denial. We'll just do this.
They're trying to like spike, or they were trying to chump block and like spike a EOT Eladamri's call into
right.
Devoted Druid. Or I guess it couldn't even win Devoted Druid, could they? Because Summoning Sickness.
I guess they're trying to spike a second. They were probably going to call for a Vizier and spike the Postmortem launch.
Sure.
Yeah. Okie doke. So against this kind of a deck, we have a lot of tools we could potentially bring in. Yeah, even Pithing Needle. Wow, okay. You could literally argue for the entire sideboard here, I think, maybe besides Royal Scions. So, with that all being said... Wow. Okay, we gotta think, like, to what level do we think our opponent is going to be trying to sideboard juke us? And if they're sideboard juking us, Pithing Needle gets a little bit worse. But I still like Pithing Needle, because if just Pithing Needle's on the battlefield, as long as it stays there, they can't combo kill us, right? Because then doesn't...
They can Devoted Druid. Or they can't untap Devoted Druid,
right. They can't untap it, so it loses the combo. It's just a mana dork. So I think I like that. I like this. Gust seems good. I mean, I see them bring in a lot of pro-black and pro-red creatures often. So, like, K-Return seems fine. I guess what they play, though, is they play that Burnt and Forge Tender.
So, Plague Engineer is actually one of my favorites here.
Yeah, Plague Engineer is great.
Like, name human.
Yeah,
stop
never.
The combo.
Right, so we have 3, like, you can't combo cards. Which is nice. So actually, maybe we just don't need K-Return, maybe? Because it's just like, if they're just putting out, like, an Auriok Champion or, like, whatever, right?
Possible.
So, what do we not like, though? I mean, our deck is pretty loaded here, for sure.
I think, like, A-Stub, I'd say you probably don't even need Battle Rages.
Okay.
They're going to be boarding in Path to Exiles.
Good point.
And potentially, like, Skyclave Apparition.
True.
And then I could see, like, finishing it off with maybe a Wraith and
Okay.
a Scourge if you're expecting, like, Auriok
Sure.
Champions and Scavengers, Kitchen Finks, whatever.
Good call. Good call. Yeah, I like that. That's a good call. A lot of goodies. I mean, gosh, even Collector Brutality is pretty nice. You just kill their dork and then make them discard out, like, you know, one of their good spells. But they're going to run it like this. We were kind of having a conversation earlier tonight, actually, about not diluting your deck too much, and I think that's what we're looking at here. So I think this is just a snap keep. Just have, like, just gobs of disruption. If they hold up a green and pass, then we're just not going to play into... Okay, Giver. Okay, sure. That's another thing we can name with Needle. Since we have double kill spells, I think we're just going to Thoughtseize here. And now we can bobble ourselves because we can see which one of these we want to use. What's on top? A Thought Scour. I don't think we need another Thought Scour. So we just go ahead and fetch that away. We were looking for like a threat, I think. Like a Death Shadow or something. Okay, they got a really solid hand here. Yeah, they got a really solid hand. So we need to pick up one more piece of disruption if we want to tear apart what they're doing. Because one removal spell has to go here, another removal spell has to go here. And then they can either Finale or Eladamri's Call something back there. So I think we're supposed to take Eladamri's Call. Because Finale is more of a mana intense... I mean, it does put something onto the battlefield right away. It's also like a win con.
I actually like taking Devoted Druid here.
Huh.
Because if they spend their next turn, like,
Oh, true.
Call,
Yeah, that slows them down the most.
Druid. Yeah.
Well said, well said. You're right.
You just get to buy yourself a whole bunch of time.
Yeah. No, that's really heads up. For sure.
I think that's like the big downside to their deck in a matchup like this is just the summoning sickness off Devoted Druid.
Yeah.
Like, obviously they have Postmortem Lunge in their deck to some extent, but it's a pretty tough card to really, like, maximize value off of.
True. Okay. I like the call on their own turn, so they play around Stubborn Denial out of us. Very nice, very nice. You want to attack us? Okay. Fair enough. Alright, let's Street Wraith. Let's fetch out a land that we're going to want. Just like just like another Blood Crypt is fine. Yeah, well, we kind of flooded on red sources here, but we got everything we need.
One point to consider here is if you're planning on killing the Giver Runes, I would do it on your turn and use Fatal Push.
Sure.
That way, if your opponent draws into, like, Veil of Summer, you can lightning bolt without fear of like failing to save the devoted druid.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Alright, we got a lot of disruption. We just gotta find that threat, which hopefully we will eventually. Okay. And just pass, interesting. I'm not going to use a bolt on this guy. We need to save it for the others. Okay. Yeah. Thought Scar off the steam vents. There's no way to... If we hit a threat, there's no way to hold a bolt and stub. Oh yeah, there is off the steam vents. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We got there. Yikes. Okay. Yep.
Something internal fail rate of Grixis.
Yep. That's right. That is right. And another interesting thing is we haven't even seen any sideboard cards yet either. Either, you know, flipped over to our yard or anything else. So.
Saw stub on a finale of Devastation would be pretty awesome here.
It would be pretty awesome.
I don't think it's gonna happen. But...
Right. Imagine our opponent's gonna try to play around it, but you know. Attack me, you won't. Attack me, oh coward. I'm just kidding, that was the right thing to do. Okay. We're just gonna die to this noble hierarch. I see how it is. Okay, I see how it is. So do we take Vizier? On the same logic that you explained earlier, that's just, these are just the most mana-intensive things?
I like it.
Okay.
It's like if your opponent doesn't hit a land and they want a finale, then they can't attack with a hierarch.
Mm-hmm. So now they can play around soft studs. Sorry, they have 2 finales in hands.
Finale for 3.
Who knows? It'd be extremely nice of our opponent to do so. Yep. Alright, I think we get like one more turn. Pop.
I for one am shocked that they were getting devoted druid here.
I know, right? Alright, let's see that big monster Death Shadow. Big scary shadow. Snapcaster Mage actually is fine as well. Alright. Can't cast that because we die. Alright. Good old Grixis. Just keep on Grixixing. I love our opponents. They're just like, yeah, I'm just going to kill him with this Noble Hierarch. They don't even know. They don't even know. Alright, I believe our clock is ticking. Let's see what they go ahead and do. I'm just guessing they're just going to do the same thing as last, as finale for a Devoted Druid and hold up 1 mana for a Stubborn Denial.
There's a chance a finale for 3.
Mm.
So maybe they try to get like a what's it called? Ranger captain. You get a ballista.
Just try to kill us, yeah. That would definitely be the high upside play, making us have it. Oh, yes. Pony, you could have just not attacked with the Noble and done the same thing. Alright. I'll take a Scourge of the Skyclaves. Okay, we'll take that too. These cards in our hand are just better as bluffs than they are on the battlefield, obviously. We got a lot going on. Giver's actually... Oh, Giver's funny enough. Giver's kind of sick because they can just give this pro-black and attack us. Also, they have lethal on the Giver next turn, so if we don't draw something, we can't attack. Okay, well. We just do this now. Or do we attack and make them try to commit to something, then push it? That's a little bit better, right?
And if we like attack and they try to attack back with the Giver, we get to push the Giver, it's really good.
Right.
The downside would be they just randomly draw like Fatal Push, or not Fatal Push, Veil of Summer.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't mind playing around Veil of Summer, I think. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you have an attack, like you're not really changing anything that you're dead to.
Right.
If you're dead at 2, you're dead at 1.
Mm-hmm. Alright, we just need that Bloodbraid Elf into Bolt, dude. Or Bloodbraid Elf into, Ooh, this looks scary. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do, Pig. That'll do. Alright, well, we needed Mr. Gurmag quite a bit longer before, so...
Maybe that was the argument for not attacking.
We're dead anyway. Yeah, we're drawing a land. Gus. Okay, so... Do we want to change anything? Everything just looks better, you know what I mean? Like, everything in the sideboard looks better. Stubs even look better. Maybe Gust is, like, not exciting, because sometimes I'll just play a bunch of, like, creatures. I don't like it doesn't interact with Ranger Captain. I don't know.
Not like a K return or something over Gus.
Sure.
Or Collective Brutality is pretty good in this matchup.
Especially on the play.
Devoted Druid, take a Philodomri's Call.
Right, exactly. Yeah, everything just gets better on the play as well. Alright. Like, funny enough, it is, like, a problem to have too many cards. Because then it's like, I don't know how to evaluate what's good and what's not. And then the opponent can kind of maneuver their way around, like, if we don't draw the right half of the disruption that we're looking for. Like, for instance, we draw a bunch of stubs, but then they just have a bunch of creatures to play the board, or vice versa. We're gonna get there, right? We're gonna get there, right? Oh, man. I still like this hand. I know. I still like this hand, though. It's like, how can you throw this back, right? Yeah.
The only real downside is like you're only casting one spell a turn off this basic island.
That's true. Fair enough. I don't want to throw this back, dude. You know MTGO, they're going to give us like some unplayable... It's going to be a no-lander 6, and we just mull to a derpy 5 that can't win.
All straight Snapcasters off the top.
Gosh. This is why... This is why I lose with Grixis, because I just cannot evaluate opening hands, or have the gall or the balls to like actually pull the trigger on this stuff. So we're just going to go ahead and Mishra's Bauble them right away. Give us better information on our Inquisition. The Horizon of the Canopies. And we need to grab Blood Crypt so that we have black and red for all of our spells in hand. Alright, I shouldn't do that because one time I was messing around with that just like that, and then I accidentally clicked a land that I didn't mean to click on. Alright, so I actually think I mean, I would normally just snap take Veil. But, like, if we take, like, Devoted Druid and they play Giver of Runes... I guess we're still on the one spell a turn. Yeah. Okay, we're just going to take Veil. We just don't want to have to put up with that card for the rest of the game. Hey! There's our best boy. That's their hand. I think we Thoughtseize. We're supposed to take... So if we take Shalai, we risk... Like, if we don't draw the second land for another bolt, like another red source, then we definitely run a big risk there. Then again, they're on 3 lands, and their Shalai is going to take a while. I think we're supposed to just not mess around, take the Devoted Druid, right?
I think so.
So what are our best draws here? Like a Thought Scour into Fetch Land. Yeah, Thought Scour into Fetch Land would be our absolute best draw here. Fetch Land is still just fine. Yeah, because then we can just still Gurmakle to Bolt. Attack, you won't. Yeah, so Thought Scour into Fetch Land, just a Fetch Land, Street Wraith into Fetch Land. Oh, so close. Oh no, we can bolt this and then...
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Alright, it's all coming together now. Until we just get hit by this bolt, or this Path Exile here. Bra moment. Okay, no bra moments here. Could still have a bra moment, though, for sure. Okay. So that means they drew a 3-drop last turn. Probably? Oh, never mind. Oh, that means anything. Okay, fair enough. We will most likely be sending that Giver to Jesus as well. Once again.
Second time.
Thoughtseize? Thoughtseize? Spooky. I'm just gonna let them. I'm gonna let them Shalai. Obviously, we got to remember to bolt in response to the Shalai because it gives hexproof. So the Giver Shalai lock is a pretty good one. Actually, this exact lock came up in the most recent, before COVID times, it must have been December of 2019. It was the what's it, not the Players Championship? Yeah, so the Players Championship. What does SCG do for all like their big fancy things, like for their big pro players? Yeah, Players Championship, the PC race. Players Invitational. This exact lock came up against Johnny Hobbs registered Death Shadow, 4-color Death Shadow, and I'm pretty sure this exact lock came up against him in the deck, and then that opponent ended up winning. Yeah, that was a pretty good draw. Because now we just get to present good old lethal here. Let's grab that second red source. And let's keep in mind as we're thinking out lines, we cannot bolt them or any of their creatures. We can only bolt the Shalai. So let's say we attack with both of these and they block the shadow. We cannot bolt them for lethal, but we can bolt ourselves to kill the Shalai. So this definitely opens up some lines for them to win. Obviously, best draws for us here are going to be things like Dismember. We Dismember obviously just wins here. Unless they grab a 1-drop they can cast. But I'm guessing they're grabbing Ballista. Oh, Giver Brooms, sure. Alright, so they're going for that good old Giver Shalai lock. So if I attack here, what's their blocks? What are their blocks looking like? Follow-up question, if we hit that Collective Brutality, are we supposed to Brutality this, bolt it, and then attack with both? These would trade and then... Actually not sure. We're in a bit of an interesting situation here. Are they it still might be me. My internet's been being weird. You reconnect. Because if it's them, are they thinking about attacking? That would be pretty ballsy.
I don't think there's any way you can make this attack.
Right.
It's like, you have to chump block with one of your creatures at least.
Right.
Which just means you're on double chump block duty next turn.
Right.
With the Shalai.
Mm-hmm. Not exactly what we were looking for here. Yeah, no real way for them to mess this up. I think we're just bolting ourselves, right?
I agree.
Which probably prompts the sack here. And then we're dealing them 5, they go to 2, and we have 2 lethal attackers. That is 6 mana to activate. They're a little bit away from that. I'm just going to hold this swamp in hand. It is much better as a bluff than it is as a land on the battlefield. Although it won't do much as a bluff. Right, opponent, what we got? What do we got? Is Postmortem Lunge an instant? Or is it a sorcery? Okay. Not that they could activate it now, they're at 2 life. So if they have a removal spell, then they do have the lock of Shalai Giver here, where they can just keep blocking the one creature Giver, give it pro black. Huh. Okay.
Dead next turn.
Makes sense. I guess that puts us to no outs then, right? Because we took out our Battle Rages. Yeah, did. That's an unfortunate. Yeah, we just bricked super hard. Nothing you can do about it. But yeah. Well, good on our opponent. They found the line. They got there. Pretty cool. And yeah, we needed something there, and we just didn't hit anything. And yep. All right. Oh man, Mike, I don't know how you ever play Grixis, dude. These Grixis leagues are just like heart rippers, dude. They like put you through the ringer. Like even when you win, you're like, I need to go like lie in bed and recover from the trauma.
Just all on a margin.
Like every single game is like you just riding, just dying on those top decks, dude. They're so savage. Oh man.
That's why we're trying to develop like fire design shadow, right? And everybody else gets broken cards, and we gotta force them too.
Oh my god, dude. I just can't. I can't with this deck, dude. Oh man. It's just the absolute just roller coaster of emotions. Okay. We get to do some fun things. We get to see Fatal Push on top. Don't think that's where we want to be. Okay, Scourge is maybe something here. Cycle one more time. Ooh boy. We are just pew 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 pew. Just like doing a million different things.
Show opponents that you know how to take game actions.
You know what? You got to. You really got to. Oh wow, I was really expecting to see, what's it called there? Amulet. Usually, pretty often you don't see your Amulet opponent keep that kind of a hand without an Amulet like that. Just like a slow hand in the dark like that, you know?
Your opponent is very much dead next turn.
Yeah, yeah. Opponent is, in the words of my good friend Kami, aggressively dead. What do you think of this matchup? Just in general, your experience. Exactly Grixis versus Amulet.
Obviously with Field of the Dead, it was absolutely horrendous.
True.
Without Field of the Dead, I would say it is
Whoa.
eternal struggle to cast Dismember.
Dude, non-stop for me. Non-stop.
Without Field of the Dead, I would say that on the Grixis side, if you mull aggressively to just like a good hand, you're favored. It's not 80-20 or some insane percentage like that, but we definitely have the tools to beat their good hands.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to be really, really disciplined with understanding what's important in the matchup, which is just like to not dirtle around and
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Don't try to play Grixis control.
Mm-hmm.
Play Grixis kill you.
Right. Yeah, well said. Well said. Yeah, I'm going to cut some bolts for more stack-based interaction and gust and leak. You can cut a Scourge. Scourge is good, obviously, but they don't usually deal a lot of damage to themselves, and we don't want to be caught out with a threat that's just not doing anything. So I like all this.
For me, I absolutely hate Snapcaster in the matchup.
Okay.
Because between Bajuka Bog and relics and things, Snapcaster becomes a really bad ambush viper really quickly and just doesn't attack through anything.
Sure.
Past that, I would maybe consider keeping the fourth push in, or the fourth lightning bolt in over a stubborn denial on the draw.
Good point.
Because it gets Amulet down under you, and you've got to be killing them if you're racing an Amulet.
Sure. That's a good point. That being said, I think this hand's fine. Like, we got turn 1 interaction, Street Wraith redraws, Thought Scour. I don't hate this.
It's like the kind of hand that you really want one of two things to happen. Either just draw like straight fetches
Right.
and wraiths off the top, or draw into a Gurmag Angler like immediately.
Sure.
And if one of those
There's
two
a hand.
things doesn't happen, there's a good chance you don't get there with this hand. Something, just draw straight Thoughtseize and fetch lands.
Something like that. I think I'm going to grab the red source for Battle Rages, because that might be what this comes down to. We have our blue source. Yeah. So, as of right now, they can't cast this Dryad next turn.
Something, Bajuka Bog, Snapcaster's bad.
Yeah. I still think we're taking Dryad, though.
I agree.
Yeah, because if they top deck away to get that on the battlefield, then we're going to feel really bad. So if we were to take Pact, we're going to get nothing for it. No, my graveyard. No, my graveyard. My precious graveyard. Okay. I think let's just go ahead and Inquisition into Shadow.
I'm going to give a line here. And it's a little bit out of left field. So take that with a grain of salt.
Okay.
Watery Grave Shock.
Sure.
Play Shadow off the Blood Pact.
Okay.
If your opponent goes Garenbrig, untap, Pact to try to get a Dryad or Azusa,
Right.
soft dub just wins you the game on the spot.
Okay, yeah. So those are the lines. Those are the lines right there, dude.
It's really, really minor. There's not a huge chance for it.
Right.
But it's basically free to play into.
Sure, because
since you just get to untap and Inquisition next turn.
Right.
But I've had it come up, and so now I think about it like every time.
Yeah, it's a good line. It's a really good line. You got Yol Prime Evil Titan. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have a Prime Evil Titan next turn.
They do not. They don't have the second green to activate Garenbrig.
Golgari Rothform? Oh, you
That
need
gives
double
them one
green.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to bolt myself?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if you just draw like a fetch land next turn, you just kill them.
Yeah, right. Fetch line kills them, right.
They actually don't have the mana in hand at all to cast Titan, which is kind of funny.
No, they do next turn, right? Golgari Rot Farm, Castle Garenbrig, Boros, and with this, right?
Nope, they need double green to cast the Titan.
Okay. I trust you. I'm just not quite seeing it yet.
So they've got the green that they can make off Golgari Rot Farm.
Okay.
And they've got a green off Garenbrig, but they can't make the green off Garenbrig because they have to use Castle Garenbrig's ability to cast the Titan.
Okay.
The only one green source they have available is that Rot Farm.
Okay. I think it's free to Inquisition here. I know it's not going to hit, but just in case. Yep, another Bajuka Bog. Oh, that was the one they just bounced in. All right, so it sucks we can't attack because we just die on the crackback. Funny story.
Unless you think your opponent's gonna go for the chump there. I probably wouldn't do it. But
Yeah. The Rag Daddy. That's an interesting one. I usually don't see that out of. 2, 3, 4. 5. Okay. Yeah, so. Oh, you were just saying not that turn.
yes.
I thought you were saying they don't have the mana in hand to cast a Primeval Titan, and I was like, yeah,
Off
they
Garenbrig.
do. Okay. Alright, so looking pretty dead here.
I Oh, they didn't have Stronghold in hand. They had the double strike one.
I don't think they had either of those in hand.
Yeah, they had it to play the Titan on, or the Amulet on turn 1.
Oh, okay.
Played it all. Whatever what's the stupid double strike one?
Dude, I have no idea. I'm not good with memorizing those things. Okay, so on the play, everything gets better, including stubs. So I'm happy just running this back. Kolagon's command gets a lot better on the play, but we may not need it. I think I'm fine with everything here.
Yeah.
Fortunate this, if any one of these were a threat, like a Gurmag or something, this would be a pretty sweet hand, but alas.
I think I even would have kept it off second land, honestly.
Gotcha.
This is
Much significantly better. We're gonna put back a Steam Vents. We get to Bobble, Street Wraith, and Thoughtseize. We get to do all kinds of fun things in our opening turn here. Our opponent is also Mulligan, so that will help us as well. So let's see if we bobble and see a Stubborn Denial. That'll be interesting. A Death's Shadow. Ooh, a Death's Shadow. I think we want one of those.
Sounds like a card that the Death Shadow deck would want.
Sometimes, dude. Sometimes. Sometimes not so much. Okay. So we got a pretty slow hand from them. A lot of tap lands, Golgari Rot Farm, bouncing things back. I like just taking Dismember here and letting them dirtle for a little bit, and then let's just develop our creatures.
I like it.
Cool.
Our creatures, you say?
Something, something, something. Playing more threats to the board. Oh no, how are we going to beat a plant token though? Let's be real.
I don't think we can.
Alright, so now we're literally just looking for like fetch lands. Just to grow our shadows. Just apply a lot of pressure, get the Gurmag down next turn. Scourge is fine too.
We'll see if it ends up coming up. But there is some consideration to playing Gurmag last turn instead of the shadows. Just in case your opponent top decks Bajuka Bog.
That was, yeah, that's true. They say no blocks. Now I'm just playing a Scourge.
Right. Like, it's not a huge thing.
For sure.
It's gonna come back to bite you as long as you get the
Famous
mana
last
leak
words.
this Dryad on the way down. You feel pretty good.
We're not going to, right? Oh, unless they have, yeah, no, they have a forest. Okay. Ooh, we might be in trouble now, actually. We got Valakut. Alright. Untap lane there was pretty good. So we can play that Dryad out. Alright, now we need a Dismember. Best draw. Touch lane's not bad. So we have next turn we can Mana Leak the Explorer because just 2 land drops doesn't trigger Valakut here.
Correct.
So 5, 10, 14. If they don't get to assign any blocks at all. If they're blocking like this, I'm not going to fetch. Yeah, I'm not going to fetch. Right?
So,
No.
are you... Like, it's not for damage considerations, but you're going to have to fetch anyway if you want to play the Gurmag and hold up the Mana Leak.
Okay, yeah, we want to just fetch Basic Swamp and Gurmag. Or we just fetch Shock and Gurmag.
I think you have to fetch Shock and Gurmag. Like, you're not dead to the Valakut triggers.
That's true.
But I think you want to make sure that, like, if they do manage to get to Valakut, that they're not just, like, picking off shadows with it.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Which is what that would have done if I had just fetched for Basic Swamp there.
So this is kind of like a sweet spot where if they do get Valakut online and they hit a shadow with it, or if they do manage to kill off a shadow, then that's fine because they're still not, or they still have to chump block their next turn.
Mm-hmm.
And if they just have tap lands in this Explorer and you get to Mana Leak the Explorer,
Right.
that's absolutely nuts for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, we're definitely very much presenting lethal here.
Which that's what it looks like. Was there playing an Amulet here?
Or an EE.
Amulet wouldn't really matter.
No.
Honestly, EE would be fine too, because they could EE, Valakut, second land. Yeah, EE would be fine. They couldn't explore because of the Mana Leak, and they'd still be forced to chump on the attack back.
Right. So now they're just gonna make a chump block with Colony Garden, and they're just taking 10. So if we hit any fetch land, any way to lower a life wins the game. Because they can, yep. Let's see what we hit. Big money. So yeah. Okay. Deck was like, I heard you were having problems finding threats. I heard that you were having problems. I were you talking shit about us never finding threats. All right, cool. Sweet. Wow. My goodness. Y'all, if you're still watching, thank you so much for sticking that out with me. Yeah, that was a crazy league. Oh my goodness. Does Grixis just like feel like, oh, just like playing, tugging on my heartstrings, just making my heart rate go through the roof. I'm going to go see my doctor, and they're going to say, hey, man, stay off the Grixis. I'm telling you, I've had 5 patients in already. They get on the Grixis, and they're never the same. But for real. Obviously, the deck had incredible moments in that league. The deck is just exceeding expectations by a lot in a lot of spots here. Also, notably, that let's see if it still is there. Yeah. Notably, we had both our losses were on 3 games, and both were extraordinarily close. If you remember our second match against Volkswagen, I mean, he had double bolt, drew the double bolt at the very end, and if it was just anything else, we would have gotten there, right? And then same also with the Abzan man, really, really, really close games. And honestly, I'm just really, really feeling the lightning bolts in this deck because of the flexibility it gives you, the reach it gives you, and just the lines that it opens up. Scourge was okay. It wasn't amazing. Maybe we can play like 1 or 2, something like that. But I really felt like the lightning bolts overperformed here. So I was really into that. But yeah, our last league with Grixis is down. Oh, it's kind of bittersweet. I mean, I know I'll come back to this deck eventually, because it'll be itching at me like, oh, you got to get better at Grixis. That's your weak point, and I got to get better at it. But really happy that we cashed as our final outing with Grixis. And yeah, thank you again so much, everyone, for the support, for the comments, for everything else. It really means the world. And I'm going to see everyone tomorrow.